after say me expose UTI Dawah was a video we say mono comment section one no majority of the Muslims are oma commenting no omo nyina ebusa one question but none of them no is opposing and I say ebia say all can UTI Dawah nim say oh say the UTI Dawah can no enye Islamic enye good enye say ne kasafa your fellow Ghanaians ho enye say ne yede tena there be oh UTI Dawah anye ye enye say po na Islam kire nobody none of the Muslims now oma comment to a video na say no none of them no and all oppose the UTI Dawah can and I say how or canon no tina me catch say some people no they carry two faces say they almost some kire wo no say the Quran kire no say the almost interpretation kire no they will smile in your face but in their heart no they curse you. Question ben on mubusa me the whole time. Oma ignore me point na me person me make you a video we say UTI Dawah Muslim preachers no in two faces nya chom oma ignore sa point na me making no. And omubusa me one question. Me answer almost a question on mubusa me no. But before I answer that question no, me person me sa bo video ni bion na amanfo tie a refresh on my mind. Say in case we hunu video na video ni mumi tie UTI Dawah.
In Islam, we and Christians are not enemies. This is a misconception that is being spread. If you are told to even marry Christian women, in Quran 5 verse 5, if a Muslim can marry Christian woman, and if a Muslim can eat a food prepared by a Christian lady, then or a Christian, why do you think I'm your enemy then? We are not enemies.
The reason why we can't give you our children is that when we give you Muslim girls, you will turn them to appetizer drinkers, pork eaters, drunkards, and even abuse them because it is acceptable. So that is the reason why Muslims will not condescend so low to give our children to, because Quran says, Ku anfusikum wa alaykum naro. Protect yourself and your children from hellfire. We can't give our children to people who believe in human being as God. People who believe their God has birthday and their God became a curse to humanity. We can't accept this God. It is logical and sensible for every parent to protect their children. It is man who makes the family. So therefore, if a Muslim man marries a Christian woman, he protects her. But when a Christian man marries a Christian woman, he will tell her to eating pork, drinking alcohol, which will hurt her system. We protect our children.
Every time we be on, he gets me. So when and Sunny say now, there's every Sunday grandpa. And this and some of Kakafa Christopher who will say no Muslim is saying say oh Christian UTI Dawah. All this was unnecessary. Anything I can say same way say no. UTI Dawah na kasano in the first video no. Why wasn't he speaking like this to that lady no? Because oyenya chum two faces. It depended baby a wejina no na be hunu true colors. Or call lady no no. Oh, we and Christians are not enemies. And I'll all make it the example and say, oh, even a Muslim man can marry a Christian woman. Even a Muslim man can eat the food of a Christian. So we are not enemies. But meanwhile, one can't tell Obama say how or Jennifer or ban the parents or ban the papa one can't tell them. One can't tell Obama say a petition this is no abuse. Sana me pesa amount for ya wait or no kasana or stress when you man. And no trace or kind of cratch or dada or it's a Bible neka. There are some wolves. They come in the sheep's clothing. Bible ni bon de and to me agenda they say me pesa amount for ya aware sa hypocrisy in any two faces no. They all kind of say no. Say oh this sounds very reasonable no. Dada say Drew baby no we jina honom that's all grounds no standard or standard the tone is different. But so no bow in China so baby no the tone is different. Sana wo ye wa say. And I may point it out to people no. But the question that people need busa me and say question in here. Na a Christopher so betimi aware a non-believer na omo question no nti omo ignore me point na me try say me make no how na or kasa wa say with the soft tone na obegina ha say is no kasa for the same people hono with a different tone and me person me point it out but enyo no mutie crampo no a Christian betimi awale a Muslim ana say a non-believer ana Bible ni ma ye ho ansa enye me problem na say or say a Christian intimate ware no say the hypocrisy of his religion but a banner a Christianity there a different rules ni wo honom a believer should marry and as is supposed to marry a believer stands for both male and female so what say it no and the believer no a believer is supposed to marry it is like recommended to marry a believer. And there is nothing wrong with that. But say bia odo baba me ba person obe wale oba and so oba person obe ware me ba. Now unye believer. Now me say oh based on my principles, me standard, me rules no what I say na. Me person me ba no and I say me ye person wale based on our faith, ye person wale we faith nim. Enti me I don't approve say obe wale me ba no because only faith nim be. So what they say now. And to say the bear difficulties be to montem later on no? Because it's a faith, you know, echo opposite side a very difficult in a marriage. So what they say now. And you prefer say a banner worry in his faith, in her faith. Simple. But and I remember Obama wale will be or no dear a born or mutafre no say a boy in Yakupon may can we say no as exaggeration. TB. May cannot as exaggeration to make the point to say they know all you know. Oh, and what banana me say, remember wale, me buy wale or bam, uncle wale go for mutafre boy, say boy in Yankopon. And almost say a boy no suma, na just a bonny in our call. And a boy no de be a bon quan on my kisses, boy, is this necessary? We a who here. And I said, was a catcher? Oh, maybe some say I'm some me, and no the initiate, you know, now be a fan simple. Point we say that I always say, I call Jenny who quite but there be obes thrash when him, but Nakuma mono, and yes, I know one several Nakuma moon show. Whom pay any nine, I want Nakuma.
We and Christians are not.
Who any nine, I want Nakuma. Or say we will not stoop to that low. Tebi, and that is how low now a Christopher ye, according to him. Now, who ye Muslim? Ukwa J Christo ni baba no. A dear tina ma ukwa sa Christo ni baba no honom. Say a petition editina. Say a abuse editina. A dear na hunu no hwa enti anka woko akwaje ne baba ampo. Na wo ye Christo ni ba, ana se bia wo ye oba. Na say ena enkofo ne dwene fa wo papa ho a. Because wo ye oba, wo papa de wo ye be ma enti sa na according to him no, sa na Christo for ye tie. Say na wo dwene fa wo papa ho. We obi a wo deserve what say respect no or respect wo papa no. One question we say na me say woman Muslims. I hope say obi betimi agibre no answer me say question we say. In case say obi converted eba Islam mo because say we hunu oba bi opese owale no. Enti the reason now all convert no because say what say ne omunya Muslims for nyankopon Allah true and I say we the best and I say there be enya Allah ntimpo no oba hono mo oba wo hunu no oba wo hunu no ena na nije ho eno nti na o de opese oba asom no mo se de be ya ye be man ho kwan no wale oba no nti sa be ma kro we say no se oba osom ni mu se bia opo ne som osom bia o wo bia opo na oba nkremosom no oba be wale oba na so oba ye no ze oba ye nkremoni nti mo de be ma no or wale sa oba no na say yen fa ne say me here answer to this question yen fa ne say 2-3 years later sa ben makro afede wo se osom no na ni nje hu biom nti wo pese wo free osom no ono oba no so awo mienu already sa ben ma we say no in Islamic standard na say Islamic law no aware no ejina hen fa say ben ma no so no edie na beto no onka so pese wo jai oba no esom no na so wo mpe biom onka se opese wo jai oba no no ko na se bi ofa ne ma no wo de ko ba bi onka se oba no so emedi na chichinchina na se dabi ono be ma no e na wo se afede ompe osom ne biom na opese ofri osom ne mu wo na ni kire ba bi foforo sa aware no ni gina pem ne sen me nyan hunu question we dey me share them busa obi personally da ntina ebia answer wo hono me dey me nka answer answer ni hono but me person me hunu if a situation like this happens now which I believe say it happens a lot because people pretend and say baba ne mame nware people no some people that is how they think so baba ne mame nware pe no kro na tie say me nyen kremoni baba ne mame nware a ene baba yen kremoni baba be jin kremoni na tum na ma ware no na ma ne na wo say dem me pese me wu bia me wi a me se me jan kremosom afi wo be ye me den me ye sure say bibi sa happen te wonim bibi say happen so betima ma hunu no comment honom it is that bibi say happen as a Muslim community no and as a be makro no what happens to him and as what happens to the marriage no is it still considered marriage say oba no ne be ma na so te na be ma ne nyen kremoni bion but oba no de o ma ne ho permission otimi ye de obeye bia otimi ko na asoro otimi ye ne mkramosom enkura ne kro mo ye nkramosom yen ko say o ma mo ye nkram ba be ma na fe de be ma ne nyen kremoni bion a eno so awale na gu ana say aware ne wo hono so woni man sa na ama me nhu okay ana say ma me sa man the other side no so no be ma no ejai osom no ene wo ba be ye kristoni nka ne se waba be ye kristoni sese ya ena wodi nkura ne kwa asori but ni yire de wo ye nkramoni still eno sa bibi say no what happens is the families ni bam no mo ka se da bi age ye ba no no mo gu aware no completely no mo de akura ne ma me ne akura ne ko no mo na kwa mo obi amana kwa second wife ana say sen ana say the tie fa me hu no comment section ho no okay question a manfo busa na e wo comment na se no say a Christopher is allowed to marry a non-believer ana answer ne ye no dabi biblically speaking no a Christian is preferred to marry a Christian lady biblically speaking but if a Christian is married to a non-believer Bible no permit it is allowed there is no divorce in that. So what you say na enti Bible no kire say wale uyonko kristoni there is nothing wrong with that so obe wale uyonko there is nothing wrong with that but made a point that I mean making a video any two faces now a kura no how or pretend to say bia there is no animosity bia between him and Christians but the way now he speaks about Christians a proven the point now a prove say there is something going on there is some hatred over there but on person be kind of kura no and I may point it and yes in Christianity no so no it is in the Bible my make quotation here and I mean can amount for and read it for themselves okay 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse number 14 going on okay or say do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers for what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness or what fellowship has light with darkness. And the Bible no kind of clear say we shouldn't equally yoked with unbelievers. Some people no may have a different understanding of this. What they say now, but main point we say no a valid. Say Bible no encourages say we should marry in our own faith. But say me wale say ye nyemi Christopher question na me di busa Muslims na me pe answer no. Ebi wo Christianity mu. It is me wale obi a oye Christoni. Na say later on o kaso obaye nkremoni a. Should I divorce with her? No. Bible no say there be eno wo himfa 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse number 13. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse number 13 or verse number 12, 13, 14. Verse number 14 can say, for the now verse number 13, okay? If a woman has a husband who is an unbeliever and he consents to live with her, she should not divorce her. She should not divorce him. What does say now? And the Bible needs the opposite goes for the woman too. Opposite goes for the man too. If a man is living with a woman and then she is an unbeliever, he should not divorce her. It's not a Bible nature. Someone said the patch. It's a question. I'm moving no comment. Answer no. A Christian is supposed to marry a Christian. But you tell that what the hypocrisy. No, I'm pointing out. This is what he really thinks about you. Lying. We are not saying, and I'm saying a man is a God. You can't say a man is a God who became a man, not a man who is becoming a God. And misrepresentation, on the Bible, we believe that God came in a form of a man, and yet a man is becoming God. A man cannot become God, but God can come in whatever form, shape that he wishes. Even Hadith say in whatever shape you imagine, Allah will come in that shape. Whatever shape you imagine, Allah will come in that shape. Sethoo SSK etiefo. Like video we say mame. Okay, like share tag a man for hunu be me question am ebusa wo video we say mo so no. Me pese me nya answer. Na me hunu how Islamic law no etie balance ne tie. Okay, this will be pretended and also be raw or so many more because to me understand there for any reason be we bet any one so we Alan Podi or no keke kasa we di aladi and one no because oba na wo hunu nti na oba be wale oba na wo hunu no so what say na e be a community or team nipa bebre o person no mo ye close the customers na Muslims. And when me say me converted to chromosome na e be benefit me obeti me convert it into really because of say well gidi say nyankopon na omosom no ne nokre enu ntre da bi. And if somebody comes no hunu oba we say black star footballer bi ma say bibi say bi na course man no. The reason why na is so convert it because of oba. But we oba I mean we say na me friend kato we oba na say what honom na obi gi nyankopon di. It doesn't matter who ni nyankopon bia o gini di no. Say eya abosomsom nyankopon. Say ogi nyankopon tweda mpo nyankopon bo asase no esoro nya asase Yesu Kristo eja oba ene hon konkron. Say ogi nyankopon di. So ogi ben mo she nyankopon bosom. Say eno no ogi di. Okay? Now wo wonti opuni nyankopon. Because of wo oba we oba wo wonti no wa puni nyankopon say oba wo honom wo bel na watimi atrose say nipa bibi say wo be dey watimi apuni nyankopon na wo de na wo de be ye wo say duru ba bia gene ho kwa akire watimi apuni nyankopon just say the whole ni nyankopon ya wapono. Imagine now where edena obeti media po dino kwechire za nipa bi say no untimi trust no me ka kire untimi say wotimi gya ni nyankopon nyina say onom for wa na wo so wo de wo ye nipa keke o after 4-3 years no the ohunu fa ho bia in this after 4-3-5 years no ohunu ni say beyond that one ho fa ni nyina na after the be no ohunu fa still but e be normal ma no e be something used to one ho fa no nti wo dwene ho kwa akire say me tiebi ma me san repeating the biom say bia waka say oh nipa ko whoever this person is no waka say esoma me wo mu no anyway bi wo mu amenti ase and no crap on your good reason. Yeah, until BBA say it doesn't mean say who must have so many force or so many chrewa de bonia. And I'll bet me or so many something and yet even wakuma who defend the idea wa kuma munum say ade we nye ko say ka we defend ka wo yesu we chen ka won defend bibi say that nti wa kuma munum say bibi nkoso ye na wo so defend aha nti say bia nipa kro na hunu say ensoma me wo mu yi edema bia osom ne pese me ye no krampo no atenka na wo me munum po kirem say ade we nye nti mi nye say ade we say so wo hu nti mi jai we me osom we say de ne nema na osom nye ni nyina keso som enema osom nye ni nyina no makuma mu no me ya ema more energy ni kwa say me tan amanfo because omo nye Christopher Bible no nkire obi asa mi ndo me yonko say me ho so wo ye Christo no so nye Christo no me ndo no osom foforo bi nkire osom bi nkire say do yonko te say de wo do ho no onye Christo ni a o da say na ye mbodin bia wa say but e wo system ni mo enti say ni pa kro no so wo jai no som no aba be join no osom foforo a enye oba ntira a different or reason say oh ebia nyame we na me gidi say no otie no enye sa na otie enti me kokko fa nyame foforo enti ye fo nyame what is a nyame fo nyame but say wo oba nti fo nyankopon o gya ne nyankopon honom na oba be fa wo oba na edi na wo de na obegya wo si wa kwakofa ba no nko akire dwuno ho nko akire okay Sethoo SSK say wa hwe video na ba bedru ha say ya okay like video no mame tap so like no honom tap okay they follow me pages no maybe I Sethoo be abeti ma follow me okay me on Facebook me on TikTok me on YouTube okay and you beti ma follow me on all these platforms ni nyina so what question bi so ma me abeti ma hu no comment na say Sethoo SSK okay ma me hu no comment na say Sethoo SSK me for conversation we see what say na tiefo nyankopon asomdwie enka obiaa mama bye.